Biden is walking into this joint session of Congress with an abysmal approval rating, 37% approval rating, which is laughable. It's actually laughable to believe that it's even that high, but the 37% approval rating is from a poll from the Washington Post. So maybe, if anything, exaggerated on the side of Biden and the liberals. The Washington Post is not conservative, obviously. So he's walking in, and he should be walking in with some embarrassment, some humiliation, at the very least, some humility, because the people who voted for him are not happy with what he's done, and for good reason. I mean, look at everything that we do. We leave the house in the morning to go to work and drive our car, fill our gas tanks up, and gas is so expensive. It's so expensive just to fill up your tank of gas, thanks to Biden. That's his fault. He's responsible for that. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you buy milk for your family, and it's expensive, and Biden's responsible for that. You buy goods for your family that you need, like me, you buy diapers for your baby, and they're really expensive, thanks to Biden. So what is he going to do? Walk out and brag about this? Is he going to brag about inflation? No, he can't brag about inflation because everybody's worried about inflation. We talked about this last week when we were talking about modern monetary theory. The reason that so many people in the United States right now are turning to cryptocurrency is because cryptocurrency is an alternative currency. It's not a government-issued currency. The only reason to turn to an alternative currency is if you don't have faith in the government-issued currency, if you don't have faith in the US dollar being issued by the Fed. Why wouldn't you have faith in the US dollar being issued by the Fed at this point in our history? The only reason for that is if the Fed is printing too much money, if they are spending too much money, if our debt and deficit are growing by the day. This irresponsible spending is thanks to Biden. Now, I know it didn't start with Biden. I'm not claiming that it did. Obama did it. Trump did it. Bush did it. This is a problem that is across the aisle. But Biden is making this worse. And he's surrounding himself with people who buy into modern monetary theory, which says that you should just print as much money as you need. A government should just print the money and not worried about debt or deficit. So what is Biden going to do? Get up there and brag about inflation? Because that's what happens when you print too much money and spend too much money. Inflation happens. Or maybe he's going to go up there and brag about high crime. Because anybody who lives in a city in the United States right now, in any kind of urban center, can feel for themselves the impacts of the radical leftist agenda. And I'm talking the Black Lives Matter agenda, which not only demonizes police officers, but demonizes them to the point where city councils are defunding the police. Remember, this is a hallmark of the Black Lives Matter movement's agenda, is to defund the police. What happens when you defund the police is there aren't as many police officers, there aren't as many police resources, and of course, obviously, the common sense result of that is crime increases. Crime increases and cities become less safe. We also have these progressive prosecutors that are popping up thanks to George Soros and his money all around the country. These progressive prosecutors aren't prosecuting people for crimes they're committing. So if it's only ostensibly against the law to commit a crime, but there's no repercussions, there's no accountability to the law when you do commit the crime, then why wouldn't you commit the crime? That, of course, is what's happening in the mind of criminals. So this high crime, so what's Biden going to do? What's he going to do? Is he going to go up there and brag about the high crime that he's presided over? Because this is directly a result of the Democrats' agenda, and Biden has embraced the Democrats' agenda. Or maybe Biden wants to talk about Afghanistan. Maybe he wants to talk about the 13 U.S. service members who died as a direct result of Biden's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Maybe Biden wants to talk about the Taliban, how he surrendered Afghanistan deliberately to terrorists whose goal is to destroy Israel and the United States. Maybe that's what Biden wants to talk about. My guess is he won't mention even one word about that, because it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a liberal, you're a conservative. People are infuriated with how Biden handled Afghanistan, and they should be. They should be infuriated. Maybe Biden wants to talk about his Build Back Better plan, his failed Build Back Better plan. That's the biggest embarrassment, just not in a moral sense. He has bigger failures, but it's the biggest embarrassment of the Biden administration, because this was supposed to be their hallmark policy, Build Back Better. And it failed because it's socialism and the Green New Deal and Medicare for all and wealth tax and social justice all wrapped up into an insane price tag. And in fact, this insane price tag circles back to what we were saying before. Build Back Better. Remember, we talked about this last week on the show, the Great Reset show that I did, the episode on that. Build Back Better is actually that phrase, that title came from the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. It's tied in, it's integrated with the Great Reset. Now, part of the Great Reset, the theory is how this happens is you have to print money and spend money and not worry about debt and deficit. Hence the enormous price tag on Build Back Better. Hence why Congress, thanks in part to Joe Manchin, did not pass this. So what's Biden going to do? Is he going to come out and is he going to talk about that? Is he going to shame Joe Manchin? Is he going to brag about the fact that the one thing he claimed would be the hallmark of his administration, he's failed to do so far? I don't think so.